Hi everyone, welcome to Combat Computer Private Limited e-learning program of Azure Public Cloud Training. Myself Ilan Cherian, Technical Director at Combat Computer Private Limited. In this video, we'll be discussing how to create a storage account. So straight away, we'll get into the demonstration. So in the previous demonstration, we have discussed how to create a virtual network, and also we have discussed how to create a network security group. So now we'll start creating a storage account. For creating the storage account, go to the all services. So where you can find a storage category. Under that, you can find a storage accounts. So here we can add the storage account. Just press add. It will take a few moments to open the um, storage account creation wizard. Okay, so here we need to first select the subscription. So currently we have only one free subscription, and then we can choose the resource group. So already we have created a resource group in the previous lab. We'll use the same resource group, and also we can give a name for the storage account. So the name what you give for the storage account should be a unique name, so that name should be globally unique. And also the name should have all characters in a lowercase, something like this. I just give lab 01 CACA, that is storage account 01. So you can see here this name is already taken by someone else. So I'll just add one more zero. Yes, so this name is available. So I can use this name for my storage account. And also we can choose the location where you want to create. I'm just choosing the location East US. And also you can choose the performance tier. In the previous video, we have discussed about what is a standard performance and the premium performance. So for now, I'm just choosing standard performance since there is a lab environment. And also account kind, as in the previous video, we have understood about the storage v2 and the storage general purpose v1 and the blob storage. So for now, I'm choosing storage v2, so which is always recommended for the storing your VMs, VHDs, and other file services, etc. And also replication based on your environment's requirement, you can choose locally redundant. Even this also we have discussed in the previous video. So what is locally redundant, zone redundant? So locally redundant in the sense the region in which we have chosen, in that we'll have three copies. If you choose zone redundant, we'll have copies in three different availability zones. And if we choose geo redundant, we'll have three copies in another geographical location. And this is again the read access of geo redundant storage. And zone redundant is in another region, will have three copies in three different availability zones. And again, read access geo zone redundant storage for the things. And for now, I'm just choosing locally redundant storage. And also in the video in which we have discussed creating the Azure account. So in that video, I have explained you that. So we are allowed to, that is in free subscription, we can use only the locally redundant. Even if you can also choose geo redundant or any other type, but other types are not included in the free subscription. So you're supposed to pay additionally for that. So since this is a lab environment, so locally redundant storage is enough for us. And also you can choose the access tier. So by default, the access tier will be the hot, which is always recommended for the frequently accessed data. And also we'll have a cool tier. So cool tier is always recommended for the uh, data which is infrequently accessed. So currently we are going to use this hot tier for our virtual machines. And then you can press next and networking. So here you can choose from where your storage account can be accessed. So the default configuration is a public endpoint. That is all. It means that from anywhere this storage account can be accessed, or else you can be specific with a public endpoint with a specific virtual network. So already if we have created a virtual network, we have created one virtual network lab 01 vnet 01. If you choose this, so that your storage account will be accessible only in this vnet, and in the vnet it will be accessible only in the particular subnet which I have selected, and also that will be available accessible from the public internet also. Or else I don't want to allow any public access, so if I want to allow only the private access, so you can choose private endpoint, and then from here you can select the private endpoint from where the resources has to be accessed, so that here you can choose the private endpoint name, and also you can choose the type of storage which you are going to use. Say example, if you are choosing blob storage, so that only blob storage can be accessed from this particular vnet whichever you have selected. In the vnet you can also prefer a particular network secure, sorry, subnet, so that your storage account will be accessible only from this vnet, in from the vnet, only from the particular subnet only this storage will be accessible. And also the storage account contains a blob service, file service, table service, etc. But here we have selected the sub resource as blob, so only blob resources can be accessed from this subnet. And also if required we can enable the DNS integration. So by default the DNS integration is enabled, and the private DNS zone also will be in this location, and uh, so that you'll get a unique URL, so using that you can access this private link. But for now I don't want to go with this private endpoint, so just for explanation purpose I want to show that. So right now I'm just going with the public endpoint. So because for our next labs all we'll be using this same storage account, so that I'm just choosing the public endpoint. But based on your environment's requirement, based on your applications requirement, or based on your project's requirement, you can choose appropriate type of connectivity method. And then under advanced, so by default the secured transfer is enabled. It means the data in transit is encrypted by default. And also in Azure file shares, if you want support of larger file shares up to 100 terabyte, so you can enable this. And also data protection, by default blob soft delete is disabled. It means that when this is turned off, soft delete enables you to save and recover your blob data in many cases where blobs or blob snapshots are deleted. So this protection extends to blobs that are deleted as a result of overwrites. And based on your requirement you can enable this or disable it. So since these are lab environment, we need not to enable this. Even if you enable this, and how long the deleted blobs will be maintained in the container itself, so that will be for 7 days by default. Even if required you can change the number of days. So how long the deleted copy is residing in the storage account, again you need to pay for it. Again, since these are testing environment, I'm not enabling this. And also if required you can enable the data lake storage generation. So this data lake allows you to go with the ADLS generation to hierarchical namespace, which accelerates the big data analytic workloads and enables file level access control list. Since in this lab we are not going to discuss anything related to the data lake or anything related to the data analytic workload. So for our requirement, so this can be disabled. And also we can finally add a tag. If required, you can add whatever the tag you want. Otherwise, you can just press review on create. So first it will check for the validation. So once the validation process is completed, so we'll be able to create the storage account. It will take a few moments. So the validation process has been passed, and now we can create. Just press on this create. So again, this will take a few minutes. So after that, your storage account will be ready for you. And you can see the deployment progress is underway. And here you can notice the resources is getting created. It is under progress. Yeah, done. So now the storage account has been created. You can just press this go to resource so that it will take you to the storage account, or else you can go back to the storage account. From there also you can see the storage account which you have created. So here it is not listing, so that I'm just refreshing the console. Sometimes it will take a few minutes to display here since it is not reflecting here. I'm just refreshing the page completely. Yeah. So now you can see the storage account has been created. So when you press on that storage account, so where it will show you the in the overview, it will show you the status of the storage account. So it is primary, it is in the primary location and it is available. And the location is East US, and also the uh, you can see the performance tier is standard and hot, and the replication is locally redundant, and the account kind is storage V2, general purpose V2. And also in this storage account, we can create containers, file shares, tables, and queues. And the rest of the configuration we'll discuss in the upcoming videos. And that's it for the demonstration of creating the storage account. So the rest of the configurations we'll be discussing in the other videos. In the next video, we'll see how to create a Windows virtual machine. And until then, bye bye.